I thought we played really well. Gave great effort. Special teams let us down. Poor officiating, but other than that, okay, I'm just kidding around. I feel like a coach up here. No, I don't think I should be fired. Okay. What's happening?
What's your initial take after getting a chance to walk around of IU's facilities, campus, and some of the stuff they got going on?
Well, it's the first time I've been here for football, but I've been here a lot of times for basketball over the years, and it's a beautiful campus, great facilities. It's going to be a great environment tonight. I think everybody's not only excited about the opening of the season, but the return of Corso. He hasn't seen the Hoosiers play football in person in 35 years, and just being out last night, so many of his former players who have come back to celebrate this night with him, and to see Indiana play Ohio State on opening night. It's really cool environment. I think it's going to be electric out there.
What's your initial take on Tom Allen?
He's done a great job in terms of improving their defense last year. I mean, statistically, their defense, was in the bottom portion of the country for a number of years, and he came back and did a great job on the field. And I think in terms of the intangibles, he's done a really good job of smoothing things over with the acrimonious departure of Kevin Wilson and some of the wounded feelings probably among administrators and maybe among several of the people on the team as well. Have the right kind of guy with the right steady hand and the right demeanor to take over after something ends contentiously as that did. So I think he certainly understands the culture and the lay of the land here, and he understood by being around the team last year what was needed, and up to this point it seems like he's done a really good job of monitoring that and creating a real positive environment for the players.
Hey, Rece, what do you think the Kevin Wilson effect is on the Ohio State offense and J.T. Barrett?
Tremendous, because whatever criticisms people in Indiana, and some of them, at least according to reports, seem to perhaps be justifiable, but whatever criticisms you might have of Kevin Wilson, one of them cannot be that he's not an outstanding offensive football coach. He's been productive everywhere he's been. He was productive here for a number of years, and Ohio State probably didn't reach its potential offensively last year, even prior to the game in the playoff against Clemson. Even prior to that, they didn't play up to the standard, certainly that you saw from JT's first year as a starter in 2014. So I think it's going to be a tremendous impact. I think you'll see JT look more secure. I think you'll see the attempt to get the deep ball back in to perhaps help the running game a little bit. He's a tremendous offensive coach, and I think he'll do a very good job for Ohio State.
What do you feel are the 2 or 3 key matchups that you're going to be looking for in this game?
Well, I think the first thing will be, can Indiana protect Alego? Can they protect their quarterback at all, and can Indiana take care of the ball? Because Ohio State is so deep and talented in terms of pass rushers, and even though they have to replace some guys in the secondary, they are really athletic back there. So I think that'll be the number one thing. Will they give quarterback time to be able to execute at all? The second one will be, when Indiana's vastly improved on defense, and T. Scales is one of the top players in the country. But they'll have to try, even after what I said about Kevin, if you're going to play Ohio State, how would you rather force them to beat you? By letting him run, letting Weber and the freshman Dobbins, who I've heard nothing but rave reviews about and coming through camp, you rather that happen, or do you rather JT beat you from the pocket? Can Indiana make Barrett try to beat them from the pocket, or will Ohio State be able to run effectively?
Hey, Rece, what's it like going on the road with this game day crew? This has turned into quite a thing. It's almost like maybe running away with the circus for a dozen Saturdays during the fall here.
Probably a pretty good analogy, actually, traveling with the circus. I think the best thing about it is that all of us on the show really love the sport. Now, we love the show, we love our careers, but we love and care about the good of college football, and we get to be a part of that. Far before I arrived on this show has become a part of the DNA for fans, and sort of the must-see, and part of the process leading up to a kickoff on Saturday, which I always say Saturday can't really start. You really can't start playing until Corso puts on the headgear. And once Coach has the headgear on, okay, now we can play. We're all set now. So to be part of that, and to be with a group of guys who and with Maria joining us now too, who feel like a team and family, care about the sport. It's an adrenaline rush, man. I mean, it's fun. People come out, they appreciate the show, they want to show off their support for their team, and we get to be a part of it. And it's a thrill ride every Saturday morning.
To what do you attribute how big it's become? Your program is just college football Saturdays as a whole over the course of your career, especially these last 10 or 15, 20 years at ESPN.
Well, I think number one, we have the best regular season in all of sport, and people, whether they're hardcore football fans or just just fans of sports in general, they like drama, they like intrigue, and very little in terms of regular season. In fact, nothing in terms of regular season can match what we deliver in college football every Saturday. You hear the old cliche, every game matters, but there's no single day in any other sport which has as much impact on a regular season and ultimately a championship as we get every Saturday or every week in college football. So I think people like drama. I think our show fits into that because they see our appreciation for the sport, and nothing sells, in my judgment, on television like chemistry. And if the people at home feel comfortable with the people they're watching, even if they don't always agree with them, and they most certainly do not always agree with us, but if they feel like that we're having a good time and they like it and that we're invested and we're prepared and we're enjoying ourselves, then typically they enjoy themselves too. So I think it's a combination of the drama of the regular season, the connection that people have with their teams in college football, and the fact, hopefully, that they can sense and feel the chemistry that we have on the set, and we have that same type of feeling for the sport that they love.
Rece, what was it about this game why are you here? What made you come here?
Conference game, one of the best teams in the nation. Coach Corso is a big part of it. There's no question about that. I mean, with Lee being honored here, this is a great opportunity to be here and be part of that. But, Big Ten game on opening Thursday night, and you spend all of this off-season building up and looking forward to the start of the season. And I know we had a handful of games last weekend, but the season really starts tonight. And for that build-up to culminate in a conference game with a team that's a legit national title contender, if not the favorite for the national title. I'm not talking Vegas, but just, among fans, one of the favorites for the national title, to come to a place where they've had success, but they've had a lot of scares in recent years, and combine that with Coach being able to be honored tonight and his former players coming back to town. I think it captures part of that atmosphere and that genuine feeling and love for the sport that I talked about earlier. And it's hard. You don't want to pass on a moment where you're going to have some genuine emotion and affection and an example of what team and what this sport can do for people on the field and in their lives later. So that's part of the subplot that you'll see during the show tonight. When we take a little stroll down memory lane with the lead, but you also have the excitement, I think, of a new season. It just all kind of comes together, and it sort of made sense for us to start here and kick off the season on a Thursday night.
What do you and your colleagues were having this conversation about coming to Bloomington for game day on a special Thursday night? I mean, how soon did those conversations begin, and just how vocal was Coach Corso about coming to Bloomington and making this a thing?
He didn't say anything to me. Lee is a humble man. He's the heartbeat of the show. Everything's built around him in that moment, and I think he is more responsible for the chemistry on that set than anybody. And he reminds us all the time, it's entertainment, sweetheart. And he but he didn't at all start pounding his fist on the table. All of us have such affection for him that when we saw this opportunity, we were like, let's go. And so there was no, it didn't need to be some big push from him to go. We all wanted to be here. And you know what, truth be told, it's a big reason we're here, and we're glad for that ancillary benefit of Coach being honored and being here for him. But, one of the tenets of this show is it's about the game. And, and it's about the storylines, and we're here because it's a great way to open a season with a conference game and the subplot, of Kevin Wilson, which was just sort of a coincidence, but that sort of fell into us and provides a little bit of a subplot for the night. It's a great way to open the season.
What do you feel Corso's kind of place in college football has become with his personality on the show, with putting on the headgear and everything?
I almost look at him as like the czar of the sport. Not really a ruling czar necessarily, or a heavy-handed one, but one who carries influence, who evokes great affection from the fans and the participants and other coaches. He is a huge part of the show, and he's been honored by the College Football Hall of Fame before, and that Hall of Fame doesn't necessarily have like a contributor's wing like the Basketball Hall of Fame does or something like that, but he would be a shoe-in for that, because who has contributed more in terms of popularity to the sport and the growth of the sport and the growth of this show and the pageantry that surrounds it? Who's done more than Lee Corso? I mean, it's his spot is firmly established. It's of one of the great ambassadors, I think, in the history of the game, and one of the great entertainers in the history of the game on television. And certainly, when you look at his record, one of the outstanding coaches who translated perhaps more seamlessly into the television side than anybody else I can think of right now.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.